Good morning, students. Welcome to the subject of productions and operations management. We are in our fifth unit of the syllabus, that is aggregate planning and maintenance management, and this is part 7. We have been discussing this unit since almost 6 part now, and we have dealt with the different aspects of the three categories that we have divided the whole unit into, that is aggregate planning. We have checked out with capacity planning. We have also seen with CRP, that is capacity requirement planning and its various aspects. We are dealing with the maintenance management right now, which we have already started in the previous session. Now, once any manufacturer plans to install the capacity, that means plans to install the equipments and machines to produce something, then at that time it becomes a crucial matter for him to see that these machines, these equipments, these processes are in a working condition. That means for the purpose for which it has been installed, that has to be fulfilled, and for that particular reason it is the maintenance management that works as a part of production management department to check, to see, and to take care that all the equipments, all the machines, maybe all the facilities that are there in the factory or plant are in a good condition and they give the best results. And for that purpose the maintenance management is performing its duty. Here we are going to check introduction, objective, scope, importance and types. In the previous session we have already seen all of them, like up till scope, right? We have checked out with the introduction. We have also seen objectives and the scope. Right now in this session we'll be checking with the importance as well as the types of maintenance management. To start with, let us just refresh what is maintenance management once, and then we take up with the fresh topic there. All right. As far as the maintenance management is concerned, it is such a process of maintaining a company's assets and resources in a good condition. The purpose is to ensure that the production proceeds efficiently, hinderlessly, and the resources are used in the most effective manner. Maintenance management is also one of those aspects of managing company that is usually not explored in the recent times, right? It has not been taken in depth, but since people have started seeing that it is everything that is taken up automated, we are using too much of technology, then at that time to maintain the technology is very very crucial. To maintain the equipments is very very important, and after that the people or maybe the manufacturers have started realizing that we need to have a proper maintenance done for all of them. Thus it is an important component of well functioning production unit. So if you want that your production unit should function properly, it should be hinderlessly done, there should not be any kind of flaws, you want uninterrupted production, then at that time maintenance management is a must. It helps the companies to maintain their resources while controlling time and cost to ensure maximum efficiency of manufacturing process, utilities and related facilities. That means it is such a kind of a function of the management which takes care of the resources. It takes care of the resources to be used in the most efficient manner, in the most time effective manner, and it has to be cost effective. Time effective in the sense that if in any case the production process gets hindered or gets stopped somewhere due to any of the reason, then it will be the time taken that will be long, or we can say that the production cycle would extend, and that would result into untimely deliveries to the customers. Now what happens on the other side is that customers get dissatisfied, or maybe the orders that they used to receive, they may not be available, or the customers may not be retained for the future. So timely delivery is a must, and for timely delivery production cycle is to be maintained. To maintain the production cycle properly, unhindered, without any kind of accidents or breakdowns, then at that time maintenance management plays its own role. And that is why it is time effective also. It takes two things in mind, that time effectively the work has to be done, at the same time cost effectively. Cost effectively in the sense that if due to any of the unexpected reason, if the production stops, then what happens is the lead time increases, or maybe the production cycle extends, the idle time extends, and what happens, it results into the extension of the overhead, or maybe the excess of overhead, that will again increase the cost. And that is how it has to be ensured with the help of maintenance management, that maximum efficiency is available in the manufacturing processes, or whatever the utilities that we are using, or whatever the facilities that has been taken help for in the production cycle, right? So maintenance management is very very crucial, is very important section of any production management department. Thus it is a tool to secure a reliable and satisfactory quality of the production, safety of the employees, and protection for the environment also. That means it is such a kind of function which actually takes care that whatever the goods are produced, they are qualitative in nature, they are satisfactory to the customers. At the same time, the safety of the employees is also taken care of. It is of the prime importance to take care of the safety of the employees. At the same time, the environment is not getting disturbed, it is not getting degraded, and at the same time the environmental aspects are kept in mind, and protection of the environment is also one of the aspect of maintenance management. Thus any unit when start taking care of all these things in one under one single umbrella, then that is said to be maintenance management. Here in detail we have talked about maintenance management, right? We have also seen why maintenance management should be there, what are the areas or the functions of maintenance management, that can be divided into two parts, primary function and secondary function. We have already checked it out, and today what we are going to do is the importance of maintenance management. So once we understand the meaning of maintenance management and how it works in a unit, it is important, or it is easy also to understand the importance or maybe the significance of maintenance management. If you have maintenance management in a unit, that means it is going to give you the further advantages, right? So it may be importance, it may be considered as significance or the advantages of maintenance management. Let us see it one by one. Number one, it helps to maintain and increase the operational efficiency of the plant and services. Naturally, the sole purpose is to increase the efficiency or the operational efficiency of the plant. So ultimately, whatever resources we are using, whatever the equipments and machines we are using, we can make the best out of it. Again, number two, the uninterrupted production flow is also one of the reasons, so that if it is uninterrupted, it enhances the quality and maybe the quantity of the production. Next, the absence of planned maintenance services proves costlier. See, maintaining a maintenance department altogether, making a technical team for it, or creating a technical team for it, maybe maintaining the tools and jigs and whatever the required equipments are to maintain the wear and tear of the company, that may be a costly affair. But the more costlier is what, or maybe the costlier is what, not maintaining the maintenance department, because that will lead to a great negative impact, or maybe say when it is a breakdown, it becomes very difficult then to mend up or to come up with the cost that it incurs. That is why the absence of planned maintenance is costlier than maybe maintaining the maintenance department. So for that also there has to be a department maintained for it, or maybe a team maintained for it. Next is maintenance management helps to avoid any kind of breakdowns beforehand. See, in the types of breakdowns, we will see that before the breakdown occurs, the maintenance already starts working, or preventive maintenance is taken up, so that we can avoid the major breakdown in future. Next, again, it helps to have the timely deliveries, facilitating the marketing efficiency. Once you are producing everything in time, once every equipment and machines and services that we are taking into the use, those are maintained properly, there has to come with the timely deliveries. There are timely deliveries, there are no delays, there is no waiting, you can meet the demand, and ultimately the marketing efficiency of the firm can also be enhanced. And that is why see, all the functions of production or all the functions of say a unit, are interconnected. Production is connected to finance also, to marketing also, to HR also. Likewise, all the functional areas of the management in a firm are interconnected. So the efficiency or inefficiency of one area is going to definitely affect the consequent departments or maybe areas. So if the maintenance management works out properly, even the marketing efficiency gets the enhancement. Next comes up is huge cost on production stoppage due to breakdowns can be avoided. So huge cost can be there if there is a stoppage of the production department. On the other hand, if the breakdown is mended earlier, or maybe whatever the wear and tear is required, whatever repair is required, whatever the hauling is required, everything if maintained properly, then what happens is we can avoid the production stoppage. That is a bigger aspect of the production department which can be controlled. Next is adverse impact on the company's image due to late deliveries can also be avoided, as maintenance department helps to avoid the breakdowns. Naturally, it helps to create the image of the company in the market also. How? Because it is for sure that if you are maintaining maintenance management, then ultimately there are less chances of production getting crashed, or maybe the production cycle getting extended. So what happens is you are able to provide with the timely deliveries, and if you can make it with the timely deliveries, obviously the name or the goodwill gets a kind of good reputation in the market, and ultimately the image of the company gets positive. It gets say enhanced in the market with the before the say competitors, right? Here, eighth one is it helps to increase the morale of the employees by avoiding any noise, friction, by controlling sudden industrial accidents, because we are checking the maintenance, or we are checking the equipments, facilities, installations every now and then, or maybe whatever has been decided by the company. What happens ultimately is the morale of the employees gets satisfied, or it is always high, because there is no amount of friction, noise is controlled, no say kind of accidents can be avoided, and likewise the safety of the employees is also maintained. Again, smooth flow ensures the completion of the targeted production, boosting of the workers morale, etc. Next is companies can attain a competitive edge by having the maintenance policies better than their competitors, which will help to have a kind of competitive edge over the other competitors. So likewise, if we take two examples, or if we see two companies, one having the maintenance management and the other avoiding the cost of maintenance management, and then whatever the functions comes up, or whatever the contingencies comes up, and the unit with maintenance management, how it performs matters when you check the performance of both the unit at the same time. So it is very important, very crucial for any production unit to have the maintenance area maintained properly, or maintenance department maintained properly, depending upon the policies that they wish to follow, right? We are moving towards the types of maintenance management, which is crucial part of your examination also. Many times the questions have been asked from this area, and we are going to discuss the 5 types of maintenance management programs here. See, it depends on the organization as to how they want to plan out their maintenance schedules, or what type of maintenance is required. It totally depends upon the process. It depends on how the policies have been maintained, how the manufacturer himself wants to take up with this aspect, and then he selects his types. The types are routine maintenance, planned maintenance, predictive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, or preventive maintenance. Most of them are say self-explanatory. Most of the terms are such which we have come across, or which says all by itself. It's the breakdown maintenance and preventive maintenance that are important, and most of the time they are taken care of, and these types are mostly used, so that those fourth and fifth types we may see it in detail. The rest of them will try to understand the meaning itself. Here, when we are moving towards the routine maintenance, the name itself tells you it's day-to-day kind of maintenance that takes care of the whole production cycle. It includes the periodic inspection. That means from time to time the inspection is taken up, the cleaning is done, the lubrication and the repairs of the equipment are taken up. Yeah, and it may be running maintenance or shutdown maintenance. It may be done in two ways. It may be taken up with the running maintenance. That means while the operating system is on, or while the operations in the production area is on, the maintenance can be taken up, or there can be a total shutdown someday, and then the maintenance or wear and tear of the unit or maybe the facilities are done. Here when we are talking about the routine types, the new term may be lubricating. Lubricating is oiling the machines, right? So that we can avoid the friction, we can avoid the unnecessary types of friction which may create maybe the noise, unwanted noise, or maybe it may create a kind of disturbance in the production. So that can be maintained with the help of such kind of routine maintenance. The next comes up is planned maintenance. It is carried out as per the planned and predetermined schedules. Naturally, the planned maintenance comes up like say weekly, maybe on the say monthly basis, maybe quarterly basis. These things are taken up, and then a predetermined schedule is there, a pre-decided schedule is there, planning is there, and accordingly all the machines or all the facilities are being maintained, and that is why it is known as planned maintenance. It is also known as scheduled maintenance naturally, and it helps to reduce the machine stoppage due to sudden breakdowns. Once you are taking up with the planned maintenance and you know that this type of equipments needs the wear and tear at this point of time, or maybe the after this time or after these many hours of work, it needs a kind of maintenance, it needs a kind of the checking that whether they are in a good working condition, or it needs a kind of wear and tear, whether any worn out part is to be removed likewise. So what happens is if you know beforehand, then we can plan it accordingly, and a schedule is being prepared, and accordingly the maintenance of the machines is taken up. The third one comes up is predictive maintenance. Predictive means beforehand you come to know something. In case of sensitive instruments, problems can occur frequently. We all know this, right? So the conditions can be measured periodically or on a continuous basis. Means beforehand you know that if the machines or the functioning of the machine is sensitive enough, then what happens is that we can plan out beforehand, before the occurrence, and periodically you can take up, or on a continuous basis. Periodically means after a time gap, and continuous basis means on a daily basis, or whatever the requirement may be, we can plan out, and likewise the predictive type of measures can be taken up. And so these are the simple three types: routine, planned, and predictive. We move on to the fourth type, which is known as breakdown maintenance, and it is also known as corrective maintenance. Now what is this breakdown maintenance? Breakdown means everything gets crashed, there are no chances of further any operations. That is said to be breakdown, right? This takes place when there is stoppage of work because of machine breakdown. Means totally when machine stops working, we call it a breakdown. Here the repairs are done after the equipment stops working. What is important is that breakdown maintenance only comes up in the picture once the machine or any kind of equipment stops working. Until and unless things are working fine, until and unless there are no stoppages, this breakdown will not, this type of maintenance will not come into existence or will not come into the scene. The maintenance team here tries to locate the defects, corrects it immediately, and brings the machine in the working condition again. After the breakdown occurs, this type of maintenance comes up. Right here, what is done? A team is there. It tries to detect with what reason the machine has stopped working. It tries to mend it. It tries to correct it, and then ultimately, what happens is immediately it brings the machines to the working conditions. What are the advantages of breakdown maintenance can be seen here in the different points. Let us see it one more time. It is like it does not disturb the regular operations, as the repairs are done only on the requirements. That means it does not disturb the regular operations. Why? Because the repairs are only take up when it is required. Unless there is no requirement, no operations or no other kind of regular disturbances are there. On the other hand, no need for separate repair and maintenance department, because the operator himself is trained and he knows how to repair it. So he ultimately knows that whatever the defects comes up, or whatever the machine gets the stoppage due to reason, then technically he is a sound person to take up with the maintenance by himself. And this is how you don't need to have a separate repair and maintenance department maintained for the breakdown maintenance. Again, when a company takes up with this policy, what is their prime concern is that unless there is any breakdown, we are not going to interrupt. So no need to maintain the people for it, no need to have the overheads of the staff there, providing them with the salary for which they are not actually working, right? So unless there is any kind of stoppage, this type of breakdown does not come into, or such kind of maintenance does not come into existence, right? The next advantage is it does not require investment in standby equipments. No standby equipments are there. Once the machine is on the toes, or maybe in the working condition, it does not come into picture. And again, there is no more investment required for the standby machines, because we ultimately know that if there is any kind of breakdown in the machine, there are people to take care of. Operator himself knows that if any stoppage is there, he is technically sound to mend it. Next is, there remains no conflict between the operating and maintenance department, because altogether, as we have said, that no maintenance department is carried out or maybe maintained. You don't need a team of people to take care of the maintenance. Ultimately, it is the operating staff which takes care of the maintenance in the breakdown maintenance types. So these are the 4 advantages. As the coin has 2 sides, here again there can be the disadvantage or the limitations of this type of breakdown. Let us see it. Number 1, it results into sudden and accidental stoppages of smooth production flow. Naturally, we have seen that breakdown maintenance is such a kind of maintenance policy in which, unless there is any requirement, there is no kind of maintenance done. So what it results into is, it results into sudden accidental stoppages. There may be a sudden stoppage, and maybe you are at the peak of production and the machine may stop, and what happens is it will interrupt the whole smooth flow of production. So that is the biggest disadvantage. Next, it results into sudden breakdown of the machines due to overloading, maybe delays in the replacement, or maybe careless handling. At times careless handling is done. Maybe a kind of worn out part is had to be replaced. Instead, there is no replacement done. Even the overloading on the machines may result into the complete stoppage of the machine. Then what happens at that time is that breakdown maintenance comes into the picture, and what happens is it has to take care of the next things, right? If we move to the next area, then that is the disadvantage number 3, that is cost comes higher, because the maintenance has to be done after the breakdown. So what happens is, many a times the cost is coming high on a higher area, because once it was with the lower category, we haven't taken care of say maintaining it. So once it had to be done, but it was not done, so ultimately it will result into the higher cost when there is a major breakdown. So that's the biggest disadvantage. The next comes up is, it ignores a stitch in time saves 9. There is a saying that a stitch in time saves 9, that instead you make a stitch, you can go with a stitch in one single time. It will help you to save 9. That means 9 can be saved. But here the breakdown maintenance ignores this phrase, and that is why it takes up everything when a total crash is there. So these are some kind of disadvantages. However, it completely depends on the manufacturer to see that what type of maintenance types will be suitable to him, and accordingly he goes with his types. Next comes up the last one is preventive maintenance. The name itself tells you the prevention is better than cure. That means before anything occurs, we are taking care of it. We are trying to see that we are keeping everything, every facility and every kind of machines into a better condition, so that no major kind of breakdowns are there, no major kind of shutdown is required. So this type of preventive maintenance is also taken up many a times by the manufacturer. Now what is it all about? It aims at catching and fixing the problems before they happen. We don't have to wait that let us wait till the problem is there, will not raise our hands. Here what is done? The catching and the fixing of the problem is beforehand, before it occurs. It is mostly commonly carried out in the form of regular inspections, maybe usually occurring in the multiple times per year. That means if you know that if your unit is working or if your machines are working 24/7, then some or the other time it will crash, or it will need a kind of repair, it will need a kind of holing, it will need a kind of say replacements, maybe lubrications. These things are very common thing and it has to be done. Unless you don't do it, or if you don't do it, then what it will result into a crash. And to avoid that, what is done is multiple times in a year such kind of preventive maintenance can be taken up. It is when there is inspection of a system or a piece of technology, carefully check for all signs of wear and tear and imminent breakdowns. That means when you know that if you don't do this, then ultimately it will be a breakdown, it will be the stoppage of production cycles for maybe uncertain time period, which cannot be expected or which cannot be afforded. So at that time what we need to do is the preventive maintenance is the best resource. It helps to replace the damaged parts immediately. You know that suppose periodically if you are taking up say monthly or say twice in a month, it depends on the requirement, or maybe 6 monthly, then what happens is we can take care of these damaged part very easily. We'll come to know about the damaged part very easily, and likewise the care and cure can be taken up. This will prevent having to go into a crisis mode. Naturally we can avoid going into the crisis mode, because preventive maintenance is for that reason, that it will help us out to avoid any kind of accidents or any kind of sudden breakdown. So unexpected breakdowns can be avoided and we can move on smoothly comparatively. The primary benefit of the preventive maintenance is that it can eliminate unplanned shutdown time, as you will ideally catch problems before they occur. So you will not have to wait for shutdowns. We don't need shutdowns. In fact, sudden shutdowns can be avoided with the proper periodic preventive maintenance, right? So before the problem catches fire and it occurs and it turns into a major breakdown, it can be avoided. Thus it believes in prevention is better than cure, right? That means there is a important and say very common saying that if we prevent ourselves, then the cure may be difficult, but if we prevent ourselves or if we take care beforehand, then it is less dangerous. So the same is applied here also. Here a separate maintenance department is maintained because it has its work to be done on a say timely basis. So there is a need of maintenance department which is not required in the breakdown department, right? So here was the introductory part. What are the advantages of the same? The equipment remains in a good operating conditions because of the regular cleaning, lubricating, and maybe the parts are mended every time or maybe on a regular basis. So the operating system or the operating condition is in a good condition, or maybe the equipments are in a good condition to carry out with the production. Next is it helps to replace the worn out part before they fail to operate. Means unless you don't take up with the preventive maintenance, what happens is the worn out part will not come to know about, and those parts when you want to remove it will be only after the crash. But this is the advantage, that it helps that okay, if it is say rusting, or if the part is no more into a good condition, that ultimately it can be removed, right? And this is how it helps. The standby machine solves the problem. Many a times the production cycle is to be maintained, many a times delivery time has to be checked out, and then at that time if you have the standby machines, that if one machine is not working, we have the extra machine to get it to the work, and likewise we can help to have the unhindered production. So that's also one of the advantage. Next, it eliminates the overloading on the plants and equipments, because time to time the care is taken up, time to time the lubrication is done, maybe the replenishment, that is replacement of the parts is done, and likewise we can take good care, so overloading on the plant can be avoided ultimately, right? Next is, it prevents the interruption in the smooth flow of production, which was probably not available as the advantage in the breakdown management, that we may not be able to prevent the that means interruption, because sudden, all of a sudden, if the plant stops working, then it will be interrupting the whole smooth flow. Whereas here, because preventive measures are taken up before anything occurs, we take the preventive measures, so there are more chances of smooth flow of production than the other types, right? So these are the advantages. When we move on to the last part, that is the disadvantages or limitations, we can see few of them. The plant needs a complete close down in the repair. That is important, because if when the repair is taking up from time to time, say weekly if one day is decided, or maybe in the month, maybe quarterly when it is decided, 6 monthly when it is decided, so when the maintenance activities are taken up, it is a total shutdown, and that may be a complete close down of the whole unit, and that may cost you as far as the production is concerned. So this disadvantage is considered before using this method. Next comes up is, it involves excess administrative cost. As I told you, the whole team has to be maintained, a whole team works for the preventive maintenance, and that is why it creates a kind of administrative expense. Next is, financial investment increases, as there is need of standby machines. You have to keep the standby machines, you have to keep the extra machines, so that if anything goes wrong with the present machine or existing machine, then the extra machines can be made to work, so that may lead to the more financial investment, right? Next comes up is, there may be conflict relating to the timings and the frequencies of the repair function. Many a times operating team is under the pressure of completing the deadlines, and on the other hand, there may be the preventive maintenance management team who may be interested in taking up their own work, so conflict may arise related to the time of performance, and likewise the frequencies also matter, and depending on all this, what happens is, there may be a kind of conflict which may rise up, right? But anyways, what is important here is that this type of preventive maintenance management helps to have the avoidance of any kind of major shutdown. So it depends, as I told you earlier also, it depends on the completely on the management policies. It depends on how they want to take up with the maintenance area in their unit, how much it is required, and depending on that, the maintenance policies are being performed, right, or are being framed, and accordingly the work is being carried out. So here we come to an end of this 7th part also, and we come to an end to the unit also, that is of aggregate planning and maintenance management. We are done with the syllabus consisting of 5 units. 5 units have been divided into different parts in each unit, right, and accordingly you can follow the you can follow the series, and you can go through the whole syllabus, right? I hope you have enjoyed the sessions, though it is a very technical subject, and it has to be taken up the way it is. So here the stories cannot be made on the subject, or maybe on any particular area, so we have to learn the facts and figures as they are. So in that sense, it may prove to be little theoretical, but it is very important that this theoretical aspect is very relative to the operational aspect as far as the production and operation management area is concerned, right? So I hope you have enjoyed all the lectures and the sessions, right? If you have any queries, we have our own sources to sort out the queries. So welcome for the queries, and go through all the sessions properly, follow the series, follow the chain. Most of the time I have made the relevance of the previous session, and I have tried to relate the continuity, so maintain the same, and work hard for your exams also, for your preparations also. And this is kind of the last and concluding part. Hope we shall meet soon face to face in this critical situation also, will come out properly, will come out safely out of this critical situation, and hope to see you all in the campus also. Thank you. Take care.